Hey YouTube, this is your girl Dr. J, and I'm doing part 2 of the Let's Talk Gifted. And in this video, I'm going to talk about subject and grade acceleration and why that's something to really think about for gifted children. I'm going to actually start with grade acceleration because I think this is one of the ones that is most controversial and people don't know if they should do it or not. And I'm going to talk about why I do grade acceleration. And the reason is because for me, math drives grade level. And I often caution people who have children who are starting the algebra series very early. If you're starting the algebra series with a child that is 10 or younger, you need to consider grade acceleration. The reason is because if you do not accelerate your child, you are going to have your child doing a very high level math at the high school level. It doesn't matter how gifted a child is or how gifted in math a child is. Everybody's going to start to struggle with Calculus 2 or some of the more advanced mathematics courses. And so now all of a sudden, when it comes to things like scholarships, your child is competing for scholarship money where they're looking at scores, GPA and test scores. And your child with a 3.8 who is doing Calculus 2 is competing for a scholarship with a child with a 4.0 who's doing Algebra 2. And so when people look at grades and scores, the child with the 4.0 will beat out your child with a 3.8, even though your child got an A in Algebra 2 as well. And so you have to really think about, when do I want my child to hit these higher level maths? Do I want my child to hit these really, really high level math in high school? That's something you want to consider. Also, how comfortable are you with teaching higher level math? Because do you want your child learning, Calculus 2 or trig and all that kind of stuff from a video-based course or in a college classroom, or do you want them to try to go through the book themselves? Or, what do you want to do? Now, a lot of times people will say, well, I'm going to do dual enrollment. And I think dual enrollment is fine. We will probably utilize dual enrollment as well. But again, you really want to think about how your state looks at dual enrollment. For instance, in my state, a child has to be in at least 10th grade before they can do dual enrollment courses. Okay, if my son starts algebra in 5th grade, by the time he's in 10th grade, he's not doing Algebra 2. He might be in trig. Okay, I don't want my child's first college class to be a class that is going to be extremely challenging for him, because it takes at least a semester to learn how to do college. And so you don't want your child learning how to do college at the same time that they're trying to learn a really hard, higher level, more complex type of math as well. So for me, I am planning on my children starting dual enrollment when they hit Algebra 2. Okay, so whenever they hit Algebra 2, they are going to be in whatever grade they need to be in to get into dual enrollment. And so what I decided to start this year was grade banding. So the twins, they're technically in 2nd grade, but I'm grade banding 2nd and 3rd grade. So that next year I can decide, am I going to grade band 3rd and 4th, or are they just going to move on to 4th? Okay. Then for Speedster, he's going into 4th grade, but I'm grade banding 4th and 5th. So next year, I can decide if he's going to go into 5th and 6th, just 5th, or into 6th grade. And so I can continue to grade band so that whenever he needs to be in 10th grade, it's valid on our transcript that he's in 10th grade, so he can start those higher level courses. Now, if I find out that, he struggles with Algebra 1 or he struggles with geometry, then I can always stop the grade banding, slow him down, take our time, and we just, college is later. Whatever. I don't care if he starts college at 30. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. He's going to start when he's ready. But I don't want to put him in a position where he is having to do extremely complex stuff and learn an entire new way of doing school at that college level. And so just thinking about dual enrollment is not enough. You want to make sure you're thinking about, when is your child going to start dual enrollment? and what classes do you want your child taking as dual enrollment. Another reason why I am an advocate of grade skipping or grade advancing or grade acceleration is because none of the classes your children take in elementary school can be put on their applications for college. Okay. Some colleges request only the last 4 years. So sometimes if they apply in the 11th grade, then there will be 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Okay. So if they did Algebra 1, Algebra 2, or Geometry or something like that, and they did it in 6th and 7th, then they're not even getting credit for that. And so you really just want to think about, what makes sense for your homeschool, and not just think about what programs you're going to use, but how you want to use those different programs. So that's a reason why I'm an advocate for grade acceleration when necessary, because, a lot of times, a lot of gifted kids actually do really poorly in college because they learn in a very particular way, and then they jump to the college classroom, and they made that jump in the college classroom at the same time as a extreme jump in complexity of content. And so it was really hard for them to make that leap to the college world at the same time they were making an academic leap. And so I advocate people never to have your child start college classes at the same time as a severe academic leap. Okay. That's why people don't want, that's why colleges expect for you to already know algebra before you start college, and then you take that first course in algebra, because algebra is an academic leap. And if that's your first math class in college at that academic leap, you struggle. And it's the same way if that first college class is calculus 2. Okay, so those are some things that you want to think about when it comes to grade acceleration. Subject acceleration. Subject acceleration is where your child may be in a one grade, but they're accelerated content-wise. And this tends to not be an issue until you start to look at outside courses. And Mahogany Homemaker and I had talked about this in the comment section on her middle school video on how, you have a child who they're ready for this higher level work, and people don't believe that they're ready because of the grade that they're in or because of their age. And the ways that I've been able to get around that is, again, with testing, because I can show my kids test scores, not just their IQ score, but we also do the Robert Woodcock Johnson, not Robert Woodcock, but Woodcock Johnson test every year, and the tests that really look at grade level, where they're functioning grade level wise. And then that way, let's say my child is going in the 5th grade, or the Wonder Twins. The Wonder Twins are going in the 2nd grade, but they're going to be taking a class at the 3rd through 5th grade level, an outside class for the 3rd through 5th grade level. The way that I can do that is because I can show that their scores, that in this topic, they're actually functioning at that 3rd grade level already. And so this is not a jump in content for them, and this is not content that is beyond their understanding, because they've already been doing work at this level. And so that's a way that I get around that as well. So that's something, that's why I really like testing. Another thing to do is you could put your child in programs that have prestige. My kids are members of Mensa. Doesn't have prestige all over the place, but sometimes it, you say, oh, they're a member of Mensa, and people go, oh, okay, cool, they can take this class. Other Duke Tip program is great in my area. There's other schools that also have equivalent programs. I know Stanford. Stanford's they have EPGY, which is Educational Programs for Gifted Youth. You can get your child into those programs, and those tend to have merit, and people will understand that, okay, we can give them higher level work. Davidson's, that's for children who have IQ scores in the 1 percentile. It's very hard to get into, but that's a free program if you're in, if people are interested in that. But really look around and see what programs are available that you can get your child into, so that there is validation of the level that they work at. Also, start to get hooked up with gifted communities, and I'll put some communities in the comment section a little bit later, because I'm about to run out. Y'all heard me tell my kids to get their shoes, so we're about to run out the door after I start this uploading. But a lot of those like you will have no idea like all the sorts of things that are available until you start to get involved in some of these gifted communities, because there's like a math camp for kids in 4th through 7th grade, but but they have to already have done algebra 1. Well, it's on a college campus, and it is amazing because the camp looks amazing. We haven't gone. I would probably end up sending Faster Fox. The thing that I love about the program is that the family is expected to come and stay in the dorms while the child does the work. So they understand that these are minors. They're not asking you to bring your child and drop them off. They're asking the family to come, but your child will be in these specific classes in math. And so Faster Fox will finish. You're expected to already have done pre-algebra. Faster Fox will do pre-algebra by 4th grade, so she'll be fine for the program. It's expensive, but the type of work that they do, the connections that they'll make, the opportunities that they'll have will be worth it. And it also does have scholarship money available, I believe. So you want to start thinking about what are some ways for your child to get that higher level work and also get validation of the higher level work, because gifted children that don't work at their level, they struggle. They struggle with underachievement, which can last throughout their academic career, and also when gifted kids start repeating work they've already mastered, they actually start to perform worse. So their achievement goes down instead of up. So you definitely want to make sure that your gifted kid stays challenged, and subject acceleration and grade acceleration is a definite way to do that. So hope this helps. This is Dr. J, and I'm out. Bye-bye.